flag, please. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's get started. Yeah. Thanks, Bob. Okay. Still not on. How about now? Good? Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Gotta get close. Close.
Is this close enough? Pioneer Town, Michelle Myers. Yucca Mesa, Tom Ziegert, excused. Landers, Dawn Johnson, excused. Joshua Tree, Mark Lundquist.
Present.
Flamingo Heights is still vacant. Desert Heights, Pat Flanagan. Wonder Valley, Teresa Seitz.
Here.
Morongo Valley, Gail Swearitt. Copper Mountain Mesa, Mary Helen Tuttle, here.
Okay, adoption of agenda. Do I hear a second? Okay, all those in favor? All right, so moved. Approval of September 17, 2017 minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Okay, any discussion? No. All those in favor? Okay, so moved. Okay, item F, memorial adjournments. Mara Cantello, and I'm sure we all know about Marla. She did Tender Loving Christmas for many, many years and finally passed away. I'd like to propose a couple seconds of silence in memory of Mara. Thank you. Okay, public safety reports. County fire, probably on mutual aid, I would think, probably in Orange County or up north. CAL FIRE's here. You guys headed up there soon?
We've sent a lot of resources out.
Have you? Have you got a report for us tonight, or?
Sure do.
Okay. You want to step to the podium? Or? Is there one up there? Yeah. Make sure it's hot. Yeah.
Hello. Hi, my name is Drew Smith with CAL FIRE. I work at the Yucca Valley Station across the street from Vaughn's there. If you've been watching the news, we've had quite an active day as far as fire activity, and a lot of it's contributed to the high winds. Now, it's a red flag warning, and it'll be going on all the way to it should be kind of descending around Wednesday. But how that affects us locally is that in total there's more than 8 large fires statewide. And looking at my list, there's like the Atlas Fire in Napa County, 8,000 acres, 0% contained. Tubbs, 10,000 acres, 0% contained. And there's about 5 more on this list. And how that affects you guys locally here is that if there is a large fire that does happen, there's basically the whole system is stressed. So yeah, they're going to get resources down here, they're going to get resources locally, but as a whole, the fire activity is elevated. And so can't stress fire safety enough in times like this. And the situation with CAL FIRE is that in this unit, we're fully staffed. We have 17 frontline engines. We pushed out 1 strike team to that fire in Corona. It's called the Canyon 2. News reports is that it's still 0% contains. It's about 5,000 plus acres. A lot of local government, a lot of Forest Service, a lot of CAL FIRE resources are dedicated to that. And locally here with CAL FIRE, we still have 17 engines staffed and 16 crews. But again, it is an elevated fire weekend. If you guys watch the weather, it should be descending around Wednesday, and humidity should go up, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be cautious. But that's the state situation right now. Any questions at all? Yep.
Did Morongo Valley get called up?
Yes, they did. So Morongo Valley, their Type 1 engine, it's 461. They went as a local government resource to that incident, and they staffed up their brush engine behind it. And we have 2 engines at the Yucca Valley Station. We sent 1 out, and now we have 1 locally. Lucerne also went to that, and we backfilled that with another engine. And in total, sent 5 engines out, staffed up 6 additional. So we're actually kind of above staffing levels right now, but that's soon to change because we're going to be pushing another resource order out probably around midnight, and for day shift the next day, tomorrow. Yeah.
Any update on containment yet?
No update on containment. The latest I have is 0%. So some of those numbers are slow to move out, but they don't even have a clear acreage on it. They're saying 5,000 plus. And only because there's a lot of moving parts to it.
Any idea how it started? Was it natural or?
No, I don't. It's still under investigation. There has been elevated fire activity in that area. There was the Canyon Fire 1, and this happened in the same area, but I'm not sure how it started. But defensible space is crucially important in times like this. So evaluate your guys' property and ensure that your house is safe and your neighbor's safe as well.
Is that mic switched on? We can't hear it out here.
Can you hear it now?
I can hear yours, and we can't hear his.
Maybe I wasn't holding it close enough. How's that? Okay, any questions at all?
Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Stay safe. Okay, next up, CHP, Commander Eric Robles.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me here again tonight. It's on. On? There you go. All right. Thanks for having me here again tonight. Officer Miller couldn't make it, so I told him I'd show up this evening. Don't have a whole bunch of information for you. I do have some safety awareness issues. You know, the time's going to change here. It wasn't November 4th. So make sure your headlights are working. When in doubt, turn them on. If they don't turn on automatically, it's always important because it's really hard to see on that highway sometimes, especially when that sun seems to perfectly align on that highway. So that's always a concern. Halloween's around the corner as well, so you know there's going to be some trick-or-treaters out and about crossing the streets. And if you're going to take some kids out to trick-or-treat, make sure they have flashlights, glow sticks, something bright on. That's always a good thing to have. And parental escort, make sure you check their candy. Obviously, that's always a concern for us as well. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about Joshua Tree. I know Caltrans is here, and they're going to give you a lot of information. But so far, so good, at least on our perspective. We've seen that though we've had one minor TC, an accident that I'm aware of. I think we've had a couple of other ones at Park. Nothing significant. The pedestrians that were being struck there, it seemed to be several per year. Again, so far so good. I don't want to jinx myself in saying anything. I don't know if it's because of the reduced speed. I don't know if it's because of the awareness. I don't know if it's because of the diminished size of the roadway. Whatever the case is, we'll take it. But that doesn't mean we can drop our guard and to please, when you drive through there, drive slow and adhere to the signs that are around and make sure you know your surroundings. As far as everything else with our area, I have a couple of brand new officers. You're probably going to see them out and about. One looks really, really young. And yeah, I don't think I looked that young ever in my life. But you'll see him. He's a nice kid. And we just picked up a new one, started beginning of last week. So we're training. We'll be doubled up a lot of the time during the day. And if you happen to make contact with him, you know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not necessarily good. But we're trying. You know, it's a revolving door for us sometimes here. I think we have a couple of local people that are going to actually stay for a while. And that's always beneficial for us because we can certainly use the experience. Does anybody have any questions for me? Yes, sir.
So there was an accident at Sunset and Highway 62 on September 28th. The car drove off, you know, into the side of, I don't know, looked like maybe 2 cars were hit at that intersection. Do you know anything about that?
No, sir, I don't. You know, I respond kind of to the big ones. And I have 3 sergeants that work for me, and it's really their first choice to go out. I'm not sure why you're asking, but I can find out some details if you need some follow-up on that. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, because I mean, that's an intersection that, you know, with the striping that's being done, it's kind of like one that's been shown to be really dangerous in a way. And so
Okay.
I just saw a car that had driven off into the median, you know, this planting area, and it was a pretty bad accident.
Okay, well, you know what I can do is I can go back and look, and maybe I'll have something for you for next meeting. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, have you and your people noticed any difference with the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit there? Because I'm still getting passed right, left, and center.
And me too. You know, I don't drive it black and white all the time, and yeah, it still happens. But I have seen, we've stuck out a radar trailer out there, and which really seems to make people aware. I've asked my patrol cars to be sitting out there as well. And typically, when you see a black and white, what happens? You slow down, we anticipate having some extra patrol in there in the near future to help enforce those laws as well. But yeah, I agree with you. They're still speeding. I don't know if that's ever going to go away. And it doesn't really matter what speed limit is going to be there. But if we can slow down some of them, that's good for us.
You guys have any undrivable units in the station?
No, thank goodness we don't, because that usually is because we've crashed them.
You know, what the Malibu sheriffs, what they would do if they had a unit that needed work and wasn't getting the work done, they'd park it out on Coast Highway.
Yeah, that's one thing our agency doesn't do, and I've even seen, back in the day, Arizona DPS, they used to make a big billboard the size of a car, and I braked a couple of times for that, I have to admit. It worked. Anybody else? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Eric, appreciate it. Okay, no sheriff tonight, he's shorthanded, so we let him off the hook this time. Okay, Morongo Basin Ambulance, nobody here tonight, okay. H, presentation. We've got David Matza, the Government Legislative Affairs and Liaison for California Department of Transportation in District H, which is us. And he's going to give us an update on District 8. We've also got Laurie here from Caltrans and Terry Kasinga. Terry's very well known out here. She usually gives us an update on what's going on in the Morongo Basin far in advance of any presentation. So thanks, Gary. You keep us informed. Okay, David?
So it's an honor to be here tonight. It's my first. I'm used to yelling.
That feeds into the video.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. I'm on camera. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we're honored to be here tonight. It was a fun drive out here, but we're excited to talk to you guys about the bike lanes out there. So with us, we have Lori Espinoza. She is replacing Hytham Yaya, who I'm sure some of you have met. She is our new Sustainability Asset and Innovation Manager for Caltrans District 8. So she'll be the point person for all ATB, for a lot of ATB related stuff. So she's the person to go to for that. I'm going to be I'm new to Caltrans. I'm only 4 months in, but I'm going to be the new MAC person. So I'll be here a lot. So I look forward to working with you guys going forward on a multitude of issues. So as far as the presentation tonight, really what we're here for is just to get your feedback on the bike lanes and how everyone's perceiving them in the community, and hopefully we can answer some questions. And also if you have any comments or anything like that, we're definitely here to listen to that because we want to make those work for everyone. So just want to start off now. So does anyone have any questions or any comments on the bike lanes?
Okay, so I've been out here my whole life, and I've seen a lot of the issues that have come, heard a lot of the issues that have arose from, kind of our little town getting really busy with tourists and clubs and. Do you want me to start all over again, or just continue? Okay. And that was actually one of my questions was like, why the bike lanes? There aren't a lot of bikes that go through right there, and that was just kind of confusing for a lot of people. And I understand that there were meetings prior to you guys actually completing the bike lanes and all that done, but me kind of jumping into this, being new to this, I had no idea what was going on. I would hope that they help, but then again, I've heard a lot that it didn't make sense. The parking, lanes were a little bit wider, which caused people to have to back up into the bike lanes, which doesn't make sense because if there's a bike coming, you can't really see. So I would like to obviously know, are you guys now just collecting information to see if those are going to stay there, or are those actually permanent, or this was just something that you were just gathering information to see if it helped with the crosswalks. Like the ideas of crosswalks actually were more important than bike lanes, I think.
So Laura, how do you want to take that?
So
Is it working? Can you guys hear me? No. Oh, no. How about now? No.
this one works really well here.
Okay. So I have quite a loud voice anyhow, so if it gets too loud, let me know. I wasn't part of the decision of when they put the bikes in, the bike lanes and the green paint in, but it is out there permanently. Certainly that doesn't mean that there isn't room to possibly change or revise or revisit should the situation change. But yes, that striping is out there permanently, unless there is some indication that we need to change something. Yes.
Do we need to trade that up? Yes. So you keep that one. Okay. Or was it you? Who was talking? Was it, oh, pardon me. Thank you. There you go. I'm sorry.
Regarding the bike lanes, that was part of a plan that was instituted and installed, and, you know, it is there. You asked how it's working. I work in a shop right at the corner of Sunset and Highway 62, and I'm there virtually every day. And I have to say that the striping project has not resolved most of the issues at that intersection. I don't, you know, it hasn't really changed anything. I accept that I see pedestrians have actually been emboldened by it. They walk out to the edge of it and they walk up and down it. And also vehicular traffic, at least on the south side of the highway between Park Boulevard and Sunset, goes back and forth along the bike lane. So they drive against traffic. They sometimes back up all the way from the liquor store to Sunset against traffic using the bike lane. So I've also seen bicycles use it, so it's not a downside in that regard. But again, it hasn't resolved those issues. There are still illegal U-turns all day long, going in both directions because there's no median to stop that. And the delineators that are right there at the intersection are wide enough to drive a truck through, and I mean that literally because I see that every day. So it hasn't discouraged a lot of the problems that we see there. I would like to ask Caltrans to consider making the south side of Sunset with the intersection at 62 right in and right out only. I think if you study the data of the accidents, you will find that most of the accidents there involve a left turn into Sunset or out of Sunset from the south side. People getting T-boned, doing those kinds of turns. If they couldn't do that, it would be a safer intersection. And also, this requires coordination with the County Public Works Department, improving the little side road behind all of those businesses that goes from Sunset to Park Boulevard. If that was a clear, obvious road and a path to the traffic light, and there was only right in, right out at Sunset, I think you would find more people going to the traffic light to enter and exit the highway. That's just a suggestion. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. We've written them down and we'll take a look at this.
Great. I just want to second, I think a right in, right out at Sunset's a great idea. The left turn out of there is dangerous.
The right in, right out is off of Sunset onto 62?
I got
that.
Yeah.
And also from 62 onto Sunset.
That's what I thought you said, Celeste. I was kind of confused
Well,
so,
yeah.
so she is asking. for-
That's the way the right-ins, right, so coming out of Sunset, you could turn right. The only way to get to Sunset would be headed eastbound, turning right, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
As far as the bike lanes go, isn't that location where the green paint is, where bicycles are entitled and supposed to be riding if they're on the highway, whether there's green paint there or not? I mean, putting in the bike lane doesn't mean there's gonna be bicyclists there. That's where bicyclists are supposed to ride if they're on the highway, in that location.
Yes, bicyclists should stay in the bicycle lane.
Well, and even if the bicycle lane wasn't there, as far over on the right as the far right lane is where they're supposed to be riding, it's where they're entitled to ride. So it's not like putting in the green bike lanes now allows cyclists to ride in that location. It just brings attention to the fact that bicyclists are gonna be riding there. They're supposed to be riding there anyway. They're entitled to. So I don't know if the bike lane changes what actually is the law regarding cyclists on the highway.
You're right. The purpose of the green paint is to raise awareness. It's a visual cue for the drivers to know that their cyclists expected to be on the road there.
So
And also for cyclists to know where they are expected to be riding. So it's a visual cue.
Just one additional comment, because I was here for the discussion about it. The other purpose that Caltrans had when they proposed this project was that I'm sorry, thank you. That the striping would make the road appear narrower, and that would incentivize drivers to drive slower. That was the other part of putting the bike lane where it is.
And that is true also. As you put more striping type features, it gives the perception of a more constrained area, and that can lead to drivers slowing down a bit.
So what I was getting at is I support the bike lanes. I think it's smart to have them there. Cyclists can be riding there anyway, and if you have diagonal parking, which most people supported after the 3 meetings we had here in the votes, you should at least make people aware that cyclists are going to be there. And I think most of the diagonal parking lanes are deep enough. I've seen full-size cars pull out into behind the cars next to them and not go into the bike lane. Some of them aren't deep enough for that, and you do pull into the bike lane. And yes, I've seen people backing up along 62 through the bike lane. They shouldn't be doing that. I don't know, I think they were doing it before though, regardless. And I think I've noticed the traffic slowing down. I still notice speeders, but I drive through there multiple times per week, and to me, it feels like traffic has slowed down with the 2 lanes going in each direction, and I think that was wise. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
I agree with the right-hand turn, right in and right out of Sunset. I'll third that. One of the things that, to speak to your comment, I've personally felt like the traffic has slowed down between the speed limit being lowered and between the visual of the green. And I've also noticed less people speeding on the right to pass, passing on the right because there was so much open area. And now with a lot of the parking, it's just not possible. They can't speed through cars. And just anecdotally, maybe to speak to the crowd, I lived in New York City when they first put in bike lanes, and the taxi drivers hated them. Yeah, it drove them nuts. And after about 6 months to a year, people started to accommodate them. And then people worked together on the roads, that we have bike lanes, that we have parking, and that we have, we have a place for traffic. So I appreciate the experiment, and I'm wholly in support of it, and maybe, continue to work on it and continue to look at the statistics, because it seems like it's doing what it should. And we maybe need to give it more than 2 months. Has it been 3 months? How long has it been?
It's been about 4 months.
4 months, yeah. That's baby time. But so I appreciate your efforts, and that's all I have to say.
And it's also important to note, all traffic calming features do take time. As people start obeying the speed limit laws, people start slowing down, people start using the parking, it's like a domino effect. More and more people will slow down, and hopefully it'll reduce speeds through the community.
I want to say thank you for the whole striping project. I've definitely seen slow down, and nobody's speeding up on the right, and I truly believe it's doing what it's supposed to. And I do think that the right in, right out is a wonderful idea. Sunset is the major problem, and especially when there's the farmer's market, people are trying to pull left, there's all those tents and people and parking and walking across. And that's every Saturday for about 6 hours in the morning, and traffic is just ridiculous. If they could, and then also I like the idea of the dirt alley that all the locals use. If that was paved, which I know that's county, not Caltrans, but if that was paved, people would say, okay, I can get over to that light, because there's nowhere to go to. There's only a few streets that you could pull left on. And so they're trying it everywhere, and then people will pull out of the little mall with the Joshua Tree Realty and the other things. They'll go from the street to that to try to get out on a left. And you've got like 3 people going left at the same time. And it's all because of that whole little area being so congested. So I really would like you guys to look into that. But other than that, I think the project is working wonderfully, and I'd love to see it with permanent concrete, cement, whatever, so that it stays that way. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.
I have a comment about, or a question about the project in Morongo Valley. Are those channels going to be filled with something, or is that how they're going to be? What are they going to be filled with?
I think they're going to be filled with stamped concrete.
Okay, and the other question is, we were told that reflective buttons, or whatever they're called, were going to be put all the way along for nighttime traffic. Is that still going to happen?
I don't think there's going to be reflectors all the way. I don't believe that, I think we've answered this question before too, because people were asking for reflectors like completely along the whole thing. There will be reflectors at the beginning of each section, but I don't believe it's going to be constantly reflector marked for now. Now, you know, maybe later if we have issues and stuff, they'll look at doing something. But there will be some reflectors, I believe, spaced out along the median. How far apart, I do not know. And definitely at every abutment when you're facing it, there's going to be reflectors on either end for traffic. So, because you guys did request them continuously, and I think Hytham had said no at that time, but that he would look at it again if we were having issues. So,
Yeah, I'm just a little concerned about at night for people who don't live in Morongo and who aren't really aware of what that median means, or what it, you know, and they might try to go across it, and I can tell you can't. There's no way you're going to be able to get a drive across that.
I don't know if they're planning on putting a rumble strip along through there either. I would doubt it because of the residences. Yeah, that would have helped. But like I said, it's not going to be the continuous reflectors that you're thinking of.
But will there be a painted reflector, a yellow painted reflector along there, striped?
I'm not quite sure what kind of striping they're going to put there, but I do know that we're going to be changing out a lot of striping throughout the district to be reflective striping. So I'll find out if the plans call for the reflective striping.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Gail.
Yeah, and if I could speak to the, in this particular location, I'm not sure what striping plan is, but the state is moving towards very highly reflective striping. So all the striping throughout the state you'll start seeing a lot of improvements here in the future.
I think that would really help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to make a quick comment. When they started the project downtown, we had in mind, and this is something that has developed to the point now where it's public knowledge, is to develop a ATP system throughout, and that's what she was talking about. Laurie was talking about the ATP system. It stands for Active Transportation Plan. We went out for a grant from not SCAG, Sandbag. We got a $200,000 grant to develop a system that would go to a consultant and develop another system. You got to get a grant to get a grant. I've gone through this before at the MAC meetings. I've been asked on numerous times, what about the bike lanes in Joshua Tree? And they started calling them the bike lanes that go nowhere. Well, it was always intended to connect those to the rest of the basin through this ATP plan. In order to garner funds for that ATP system, you have to have it formalized, and that's what we're in the process now with the second consultant. They're called KOA Corporation. We've had our first meeting with a technical advisory committee of local citizens, and for instance, the college is involved in it, the school system's involved with it, bike enthusiasts are involved with it, county people are involved with it. Once this system is designed and formalized, then we can actively go out for grants to connect these systems together. It'll help, and the cities are involved on the technical advisory committee, or the maintenance managers for the town of Yucca Valley and the city of 29 Palms. I think Shane Stuckel's on there, is that right, Curtis, on one end? And Randy Council is on the other end. So we didn't leave anybody out. This is going to be a basin-wide system approved by the county and the state that we can go out and get grants. Now, this happens to work out just about right. It was a coincidence that the state has passed a new tax on gas at anywhere from 12 to 20 cents a gallon, depending who you talk to, and an increase in the registration fee on your car. A lot of those funds, and I understand the majority of those funds, and I heard up to $200 million are coming to the Southern California area, if somewhere around that amount. Those are perfect for the ATP plan. It fits right, it dovetails right into that plan. So the idea is to connect Morongo Valley with 29 Palms with a bike trail system. So once we get that system, and it's going to take a while to get it, but as soon as we get the funds, we'll get started on it, then we can connect the Joshua Tree section right into it. Now, I've been asked, has this plan been hidden someplace? No, we've been actively working on it. It's public knowledge. The KOA Corporation will be out, they promised to come out next MAC meeting in December and give a presentation on exactly how it works and give you the details. You can ask all the questions you'd like. So that's what they're talking about on the bike lanes in Joshua Tree. Hopefully, if I can connect Morongo Valley with 29 Palms, I can retire, okay? That's my goal, all right? Any questions on that?
Thomas has a question.
Yes.
If I could just add real quickly, as I was preparing to come here tonight, I actually found the news release that the consultant had put together for that project. And they are going to be October 14th, this Saturday, out at the Health and Community Resource Fair at Lucky Park in the city of 29 Palms. So for any of you that are interested, you probably have the opportunity to look at the plan.
Thank you, Lori. That's part of the contract and part of the project. They have to do community outreach in certain areas, and that's part of that. So if you want to comment on the bike trail system and what it's going to look like, then Lucky Park is the place to be. Next MAC meeting is the place to be if you want to ask questions on what that system's going to look like and how we're going to achieve it. Thanks, Lori. I appreciate that.
Wait, Thomas is in line. Let him, please, and then I'll bring you the microphone.
All right. So yeah, back to downtown Joshua Tree. First, I want to say I appreciate the work that and the money that Caltrans has put into it. I think it's been an improvement overall. I think maybe an incremental improvement. I'm looking forward to seeing some hard medians, I think, to kind of reinforce the lines that are in there. I think at this point it requires probably more enforcement down there to kind of get people to follow the lines. I back up what Celeste has said. It's been my observation too, seeing some crazy driving through the lines and over the lines, just kind of ignoring what they are. One of the things that's still there is a double stop sign on Sunset going north and south, that there's a stop and then there's a second stop, and I see people just roll through both of them and they still just, you know, don't stop. They'll do like whatever California stop or whatever. They'll see the first one, they'll say, why is that one there? And I think they just end up ignoring both of them. So I don't know why that one wasn't taken out, the old position where that stop sign was. But yeah, and I think it's still too early to kind of know what the result is for us to comment on it. I think, you know, the locals are probably still kind of getting used to it. Our tourist season is just coming in right now, so we'll really see what the impact is when everybody from out of town is rolling in and starting to, you know, acclimate, or, you know, if it's their first experience with this, then see how they work around it. The farmers market is a huge bottleneck, and that's going to be happening both Saturdays and Sundays, I think. So there's going to be, heavy traffic there, and especially with tourism coming in. I think we do need to work with the county to improve. There's Division Street, which is the sort of the back street, but that's all dirt and almost impassable, you know, just driving through there. So I think we need to figure out an alternative route than have people coming there at sunset, making that, you know, crossing the highway to make the left turn when they're heading north on Sunset, because they pull out of the side median parking area where most of the retail is happening there. And I had another couple comments, but yeah, I think that that overall it's good, but yeah, I think that people are ignoring it, and I hope that there's going to be some more enforcement down there to kind of watch what's going on with that.
Thomas, do we know that the division is a county-maintained road or not? Or is it the business owners like Turtle Island is?
Well, it's on the map, so, and I don't know it's in the industrial area, so it's, you know, I don't know what that would be.
Okay,
Who would have to, I would like, you know, because I know that, you know, if the businesses could get together and maybe create parking area back there, and I mean, it's a marked street, so I think county might want to be able to come in and pave it, you know.
Well, I agree, that would be an alternative back there, and if it's a county-maintained road, then I'll go to work and try to see what I can do. Celeste, do you know whether it's...
It is a county public right-of-way.
Is it right-of-way or a maintained road?
Well, I don't know if they claim maintenance of it, but it is a county-owned public right-of-way.
Okay, if it's...
They could
Yeah, if it was never brought into the system, that's a challenge. But if it has, then it makes it a lot easier. I'll look into that for you.
Well, they improved, remember when they did the curb improvement over there by the Park Visitor Center, and they ended up paving a little bit. I guess they had some extra asphalt that they threw in, and that just needs to be continued all the way out to Sunset, if
Right,
that's possible.
okay, I'll look into that, thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask for a clarification? You're talking about double stop signs. Is that on Sunset?
Yeah.
Northbound, headed towards
Sunset.
62?
When you hit the highway, there's 2
Okay,
stop
I'll take a look at it on my way out.
Mark, I just wanted to clarify, you said the KOA was going to be here in December, but we're dark in December, are we not? Pardon?
November, I'm sorry. Did I say December?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for Christmas, you know.
All right. Thank
Yeah,
you.
November, I'm sorry.
Are there any other questions?
Yes,
Oh,
we're
thank
getting
you.
there.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not sure it's a question, but it's a comment. If you'd put in just a few more of the delineator things, whatever they are, I think that would help. And it's not just at Sunset. I've seen problems down by Country Kitchen area too. People just pull in and use it as an extra parking space. And also, I like the 40-mile-an-hour speed limits, but nobody knows they're there until they're past them practically. I think having a 40-mile-an-hour speed limit ahead sign would help a little bit. And the ones on Turtle Island, I find myself, and I know it's there, almost speeding past it. So I just think that would be helpful. It's just a suggestion.
Thank you for your comments. Now, when you refer to the delineators, you're talking about in the median, right? The channelizers?
I'm talking about the ones at Sunset and the ones that slice off the corners, but they're
Oh.
far apart, the posts.
Okay, the channelizers, the tall ones.
Drive through, like she said, they drive front to the ones, you know, I've seen it too.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. To comment or know more about this bike lane project, Lucky Park on October 14th, here at the Morongo Basin MAC in November, and then when will Morongo Valley get to see, like, will there be a community question time for them too? Just curious. Yucca Valley as well, right there, I forgot about them.
According to the press release, on September 30th, there was something at the Arts Connection Annual Conference at Bell Center at Copper Mountain College?
Yeah.
That Morongo Valley?
Yes.
Well, I thought that was the community plan one, that was about the bike project?
I'm not sure exactly what the whole meeting was
Yeah.
for, but they were there to present this plan.
Yeah, so my other question was, is there going to be like a survey of accidents and other incidents on the highway after, to sort of survey to find out if this is an effective plan that's, and then if we want to move it in the next phase in terms of hard medians, is that something that's going to happen?
I can't answer that definitively at this point, but I know Caltrans is always monitoring collisions and things like that, and will react appropriately if there's certainly an uptick in collisions or if there's something new that needs to be done. Anything else? Okay, thank you all for having us. Okay. Oh, I did bring a project list of some projects that will be coming to the area. I thought I would just share with you. We have a map. Unfortunately, we're a little short-staffed, and there were some quality issues with the map, so we're going to get those corrected, and I could certainly email a copy to the panel here. But there's going to be some rehabilitation projects happening west of here. And then, they just rehabilitated the pavement out here. There'll also be some more pavement happening east of here. There'll be a couple of pedestrian hybrid beacons that will be installed. One at 29 Palms at Tamarisk Avenue, and another one in Morongo Valley at Park Avenue. So I think those are kind of the main projects that'll be coming your way. They're called pedestrian hybrid beacons, and basically they typically use those at mid-block crossings. So in lieu of signalizing the intersection, which often isn't warranted due to traffic numbers and things like that, it's purely a signal for pedestrians, and it's all dark until there's a pedestrian call. So it doesn't impact traffic, as far as having to cycle through constantly. So when there's a pedestrian call, the lights start to flash yellow, they go to a steady yellow, and then they go to flashing red, where vehicles are required by law to stop. Pedestrians get then the green crossing, they get to cross, and then it transitions back to dark. See, I brought it up to tantalize you guys. Tell you what's out there.
No, seriously, we've been told we can't have anything.
At sunset?
Or El Reposo. And, those things would help tremendously.
They've been asking for flashing beacons and all kinds of stuff at that location because of the warrants and everything.
Mhm.
They're just kind of staying away from crosswalks. That's
Okay. Yeah.
why you're here tonight.
Right. So with that, I'll have to check with the traffic safety folks. That's not my area of expertise where they're warranted or not, but we'll certainly follow up with that.
Very appreciated.
Okay, thank you. Anything else then? One more question, yeah. What happened to him? So he was in this position temporarily, and I applied for the position and I was offered it on a permanent basis. Mr. Yaya is up doing the job I was previously doing, and then he'll be coming back to his position here in District 8 as our, is he traffic safety engineer, right? So he'll be back in a few months.
And if you guys ever have any concerns about anything else, contact your supervisor. He'll contact me, and since I'm the government affairs guy, I'll take care of that in a timely manner. So we look forward to working for you guys, and thank you for having us.
Thank you. Okay, reports by members of the MAC. Teresa.
Hi, Teresa Seitz from Wonder Valley. We had a community meeting on Monday, October 2nd with 43 people present. Invited guests include the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, County Fire, Special Districts, and Mark Lundquist representing the Supervisor's Office. Our community center remains without a coordinator. The community meetings and food distributions will continue as scheduled. On September 9th, we distributed 83 boxes of food serving 108 Wonder Valley residents. Special thanks to volunteers Mary Kwame, Star Javier, Bob Woods, Sunny Downer, Ken Seitz, Gray Hill, Mike Gillespie, and Stephen Wilhelm. And the next USDA food distribution is October 16th. The next Salvation Army food distribution is October 25th. The community requested that we work with the county to consider a fundamental plan for Wonder Valley that would include aligning the county's shooting map with the Wonder Valley boundaries. As it stands now, there is open shooting day and night allowed in some residential neighborhoods. The community also reiterated its desire to have this meeting rotate among all the 9 unincorporated communities. On The art tour is coming up on October 21st and 22nd. Wonder Valley has 3 artists involved: Bob Arnett, Mark Houston, and Perry Hoffman from the Tile House. High Desert Test Sites has an event planned at the Palms on the night of the 21st. I also want to encourage everyone to go to the Health and Resource Fair in Lucky Park in 29 Palms. That's 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on October 14th. And I'll be tabling for the Desert AIDS Project. So stop by and say hello. And for more about what's happening in Wonder Valley, please visit wondervalley.org. Thank you.
Mark Lundquist from Joshua Tree and every other community out there. We started an effort now, and I'll give you some of the updates from the county perspective also. We started coordinating now with Lucerne Valley on some of these projects. Lucerne Valley has had numerous applications for solar fields, and they're actively looking into it and actually against most of those projects. So we're kind of coordinating with them on, we have some similar projects, of course, here in Joshua Tree, and I don't think we're done with any solar applications. So we've started that project, and hopefully, there's strength in numbers, and hopefully we can come up with some solutions for some of the issues that they have and we have. Let me see, we've been meeting with Regional Empire, a broadband consortium. I think Curtis was there at one meeting, and they claim that there's dollars for the Morongo Basin as being an area that is being underserved by broadband. It has some specific guidelines, and it's, I think they're kind of narrow, but yet it's an effort to get some broadband service up here for areas that don't have it. I think Blake Baxter, I approached him, and he's pretty good at that type of thing. There is a meeting tomorrow. Unfortunately, I can't make it, so another staff from the county, from supervisor's office, will be going to that, and we'll bring back more information. So if you're in an area that doesn't have broadband now and you're dealing with satellite or whatever, hopefully we can get some funds to get some of that broadband put in. Tomorrow night, Pioneer Town, Station 38, there'll be a meeting, and it's at 5380 Mountain View Lane at the Pytown number 38 County Fire Station, and that is in regards to an update on their new pipeline system that's going to be going in. I think they have some good news for Pioneer Town. We've been struggling with this thing for about 10 years now. They have contaminated water. They've been delivering water now for about a year, drinking water, and hopefully we can get this pipeline thing wrapped up. And once we get a pipeline built, it'll be tied in a high desert water system. And I thought Tom would be here tonight, Tom O'Kee. I'd like to thank Tom for working a deal. And you know Tom, he can work deals with Granite Construction for dirt to fill in Hollinger Road, which was destroyed by some of the heavy rains here recently. He called me, and he had about a day to get it done, and we got signed off by Public Works and Land Service as being a viable project because it was on non-maintained roads in the county. And the only thing they required was they wanted somebody there with a tractor to spread the dirt. And Don Rhodes. Don, where are you? Stand up. Don Rhodes and his tractor were there to spread the dirt. And I understand you guys can get all the way down to the highway now on Hollinger. Is that true? Good. Thank you very much. And that's my report for tonight. Thank you.
What about community open house?
Oh, community, October 11th, right? Right here. Very important. I had it on here and somehow I crossed it off. Right here from 5 to 8, your community plan will be, there'll be a presentation here. I think it's going to be a little different than they had before, Thomas. It's going to be stations around the edge of the building. I'm not sure how they're going to run it, but it's going to be very interesting. Anyway, they're going to present the community plan, and you'll have a chance to answer or ask any of the questions that you'd like to. It's going to be an interesting, fun-filled night. So October 11th, which is what, Wednesday? And 5 to 8 right here at the community center. I'll be here with bells on, so I'll see you here. Okay, thank you, Thomas.
Hi, Morongo Valley. This Saturday from 7:30 until 11:30, we're having our annual pancake breakfast for the Firefighters Auxiliary, which puts on breakfast, and the money goes to the fire department. We'll have, scrambled eggs, pancakes, fresh cider from Oak Glen and apples from Oak Glen. And then our union, our firefighters union, is having a car show, and they'll have a beer garden, and we'll also have food from Willie Boys. So please, if you're in the area, come down and join us for that.
Gail, is that all at the same time, the beer and everything?
Yeah, the breakfast is from 7:30 till 11:30, and the guys will be setting up in the park the car show. And then there'll be a beer garden. I think that starts probably at noon.
Okay.
And there'll be food there too. So please come on down. It's really fun.
No beer with your
Yes,
pancakes?
no, not to register a car.
Hi, Mary Helen from Copper Mountain Mesa. Couple things. We just had a breakfast. We're still having our breakfast, first Saturday of the month. We are not having bingo on the first Tuesday of the month until further notice, but it will come back. I renewed the license. You may have heard us on the radio and in the newspaper. High Desert Test Kitchens is at the community center on the third Monday of every month, and they are doing indigenous desert ingredients, and Sarah Witt picks the item, and then people bring stuff made out of that particular item, or if that is a little beyond you, just bring some chips and dip, and that'll be fine. So it's really nice. I guess I have not been personally, but I understand anywhere from 20 to 40 people show up. So that's kind of an exciting thing. Another high desert test sites is also taking over our fire station for the art tours. The fire station is where we used to meet way back when Copper Mountain Mesa decided to get organized. So we have this really cool fire station that High Desert Test Sites has been cleaning up. We've been cleaning it up with them. They're going to do an exhibit in there the first weekend of the art tours, which is the weekend of October 21st and 22nd. They've got some, huh? No, they're doing it the 21st. That's just, all right. October 21st and 22nd, they're going to be at the fire station. Sarah, again, is organizing something that's being made. They're going to have a breakfast at our place on Sunday. And I believe Saturday afternoon, before the Palms, they're doing some luncheon there. And I don't know the gentleman's name, but he's got some kind of oven they're putting in the back. Yeah, what is he making? It's some, I don't know what it is. It's some special thing that everybody's going, ooh, but I don't know. If it's not made in the Frigidaire, then it's not mine, and that's all it. But anyway, it's kind of exciting because we've never done that before. So come on out there. It's okay. Thanks.
I have nothing for Pioneer Town. I just want to encourage people to come on Wednesday, and I think it's important. I did go to the countywide planning meeting in Barstow to see what was going on. It was not well attended, but that turned out to be a very good thing because people from Lucerne Valley and myself were able to talk to the PlaceWorks, which is the consultant to the county for the general plan, community plan update. And he's quite clear that for those of us who have something called a community plan, that it isn't a community plan, it is an action plan, and it is not well thought through, and we are suggesting they call it a suggested action plan, or SAP, and that is actually, thank you, Janet, that's Janet. She has a devious sense of humor, but you know, they're kind of saying it. But it's very important that as this plays out, that we continue to have our voice heard. The end result that we want, and this will be in 2017, this is 2017, being 2018, will be by the end of that year, this will probably be finished. The reason that there was a success with the Altamira project and that we had some success with the airport solar is that we did have a community plan that was adopted into the general plan, which is a force of law. And that was ignored in the planning situation. So I don't have too many of these left with me, but they are on the Morongo Basin Conservation Association website. One of them is a sort of a 2-column, 4-pager cheat sheet on what are the California General Plan guidelines and real community plans, what are in real community plans, and why is the one they call a community plan out here not a community plan. So I think I make that clear. And so I have a few of these, but you can also get it on the website. And I also, and this, if it isn't on the website, it will be shortly, I did a cheat sheet for the Joshua Tree Community Plan. So basically what's in these 3 pages is all of the goals and the important policies. So you don't have to carry around the big thing. And keep that, because as this plays out, you want to be sure that our goals and those which may need to be updated are in the countywide plan. This is, in order for the people who are really active in this, everybody's support will help them. And then that doesn't mean you have to go to every other meeting and, but as long as we've got this basic piece, then we're in much better shape. And as I said, they're clear on that now. The good news is Terry Ray Hall came out with maps on September 28th, and Janet can talk about that maybe, but we expect to see those maps, that map back, and we expect to see it downzoned in the way that we want to have that happening. And that won't happen with the Altamira project because that's under litigation right now, so they can't change it. But anyway, I think we're in good shape for that. I don't think it'll take you 3 hours. They're just allowing that. And it should be very interesting because I want to see, now that they really know that the community plans are SAPs, how are they going to handle this? I also want to say that from their reports, that if you're in the urban zone of the county, this process works. It's in the rural zone that the process just fails, the one that they planned. So anyway, I think I have 4 of these left of each one, and I'd appreciate it if people who want to know more get it so that they're conversant and not feeling at a loss for what is legally going on. Any questions?
Is this going to be just Joshua Tree Community Plan or all the?
No, that's a really good question. All of the meetings are essentially the same. In other words, it handles all of them. And legally, a community plan, a real community plan, is not just about Joshua Tree. Legally, it is supposed to cover areas that are impacted by what goes on there, just as the county plan is. So in this case, we've got the Morongo Basin, we've got Morongo Valley. Yeah, so that's also get and speak. You need the same things. You need to be adopted into the countywide plan. So, and people can come from anywhere. I hope they come down from Lucerne Valley and, wherever. Yeah, no, it's not just Joshua Tree. Thank you, good question. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you, Pat, I appreciate it. Okay, let's move on to public comments. First speaker is Kristen with Joshua Tree Chamber. If you want to step up to the podium, please.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kristen. I am the new president for the Joshua Tree Chamber of Commerce. I've actually seen a lot of your faces already. We just had a relaunch mixer last week or the week before with an amazing show of support. I do finally have a full board, actually almost full board. We do still need a treasurer, but we do have a full board now with the chamber, making amazing strides and getting amazing support. Just within the last week, we've had 10 new members show up for the chamber in amazing ways. So for that, we're really grateful. And I really just wanted to say hi to everybody and kind of make my face known a little bit more. And I'm available, obviously, through the website if anybody has questions, concerns, things that we're kind of going for. I'm always open to hear suggestions and ideas. But that's it. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kristen. Okay, Gail Austin.
My name's Gail Austin. I'm a Joshua Tree business owner and a homeowner. And normally when someone that is a community leader dies, we have a moment of silence or we in some way show our respect. And I would like to take a moment of silence for Henry Clay Simmons, who was 60 years old, and he died on September 29th, 2017. And the reason I want this moment of silence is not just for Henry, but for all the people in Joshua Tree, because every single person matters in our community. And so if we could just take a moment for Henry, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Next speaker, Celeste Doyle.
Thank you. Good evening. I have two issues. First is the community plan. I want to just echo Pat Flanagan's comments. The draft presented by the county at this juncture is not a land use plan. It is a task plan. There's nothing enforceable in it. There are no well-articulated goals or policies. It lays implementation at the feet of some entities that don't even exist and other entities that really have no resources or expertise in land use planning. And I do encourage everybody to look at that stuff and participate to the best of your ability. And there are 2 hard copies of the entire draft available at the Joshua Tree Library at the desk, if anybody wants to use those. The other thing I would like to ask or comment on is I would like to ask the MAC to consider petitioning the county to modify the development code with regard to temporary use permits and temporary special event permits. If you look at the code, chapters 8515 for temporary use permits and 8516 for temporary special event permits. The process is an application to staff with no public notice and no opportunity for comment or participation. And these are things like the Childish Gambino last year and Desert Days and other temporary special concerts and things like that. Again, there's no opportunity for public participation, even though these things have a possibility of having a great deal of local impacts. And they do require a lot of coordination with local agencies like law enforcement, EMS, fire, other entities. There's even a requirement that CEQA be considered. And CEQA, as you know, is all about public participation, but if we don't know, we can't participate. And if you look at temporary special event permits, 8516, G, sub G, there is a requirement that the permit Every permit required by this chapter shall be conspicuously posted upon the premises of the temporary special event in a manner specified by the department. Some kind of public notice could require similar signage. I'm not asking for a lot of money to be spent. I just want to know that it's going on and have a chance to comment before the permit's been issued. And these things are easily done and not at great cost to the applicants, and does allow for everybody to play a role. Thank you.
Okay, it looks like call for public comment. We've got that. We don't have any more commenters, so we are adjourned. Thanks for coming, everybody.